Yeah, well, we've got 5 people waiting. Maybe that's what we should do. We should always start 1 minute late, and then it feels like we're going into a full podcast.
Nice.
I'm not sure it's really working, but
It's working. Yeah,
oh,
just
it is
have
working.
faith.
Deja vu. We've definitely said that before. So, welcome everyone that's live and watching in the future. Mark and myself were just chatting off air, and I had this crazy idea that I was an actual YouTube celebrity then, and I was thinking maybe we should do Patreon, and then people can get to chat to us. like see the off-air bit that happens before and after, where the possibly more interesting conversations happen. So if you're up for that, let us know. But it's not going to happen. By the way, I was at a friend's house, and this sort of links into what Mark and I were talking off air. He's a jazz bass player, and we were watching. Is it Scary Pockets, the band that does all the jazz? Or sort of modern versions, jazz style versions of modern songs, kind of laid back lounge stuff. I think they're called Scary Pockets. And one of the main people that set it up is the founder of Patreon. And he's a very cool, I think he plays piano. Anyway, or was he a drummer? I can't remember which one he was now, but they're all just incredibly talented. That was a terrible anecdote. Sorry about that. But the reason that we linked is, so Mark was saying off air, when we're talking about having a guitar set up, do the people that ask for it to be set up really notice the difference, or is it more of a placebo thing? You could say to them, here, I've set a guitar up for you, can you tell? And one of the things I've definitely noticed about Isaac, who's a bass player, is he can definitely tell, because he plays all the time, all he does is play. And so he knows his instruments really well. Because I did some work for him he had a fretless bass, where it was actually not a fretless bass. It had been converted to be fretless. And on the neck, on the fretboard, it was a maple neck. It had been varnished. There were very, very slight dents, which you couldn't really tell. But he could tell when he was playing, because at certain notes, you could hear it sliding, naturally sliding up. And then there'd be a sudden jump where it hit that thing. But that sudden jump was so minute, so tiny, that he could tell it was happening. So I think a good player might be able to tell.
I think you're right. But I think there's maybe a spectrum of players, right? And I can't account for all of those, but I can account for maybe just at least 2 on that spectrum. And one is you have these people, guitarists, who are frightened to turn anything on their guitar. A truss rod, the grub screws for the string height, whatever, a screw for intonation. They're just scared to death to do it, so they send it off to get set up, right? So there's that kind of person. But then there's the rock stars who just don't have time to do it, right? Like in your example, right? It's I have 6 guitars, I need them set up, I'm going on tour, and they can tell the difference between a guitar that's set up and not. They don't need to have a conversation with you. They don't need to have any kind of pre-questionnaire. They just need them set up. And so I guess my thought was, for the people who are scared to death to turn anything on their guitars, is there a placebo effect? Could they take it into a luthier, say I need it set up, and if they get it back, would they even notice the difference? Or could you trick them? I'm not saying they would, but is there a placebo effect? Really is the question.
Yeah. And also for those people that don't know, do they know that what's happening, if someone actually did make a change, if they knew if it was right or not? Because I'm thinking, I've mentioned Simon from 81 Guitar Works before, but I love his posts on Instagram because he does quite regular repair work and setup work. And he had an acoustic guitar come in with an Action, which was it was 4 millimeters or something on the low 6th, and maybe even higher on the top E. And the person that had that guitar, presumably that was their only guitar, they'd taken it to a shop and they'd been told, no, that's what guitars are meant to be like. So they'd given up playing because they found it so hard. And then for some reason, they'd had this idea of going to a second opinion with someone. And of course, someone fixed it. But yeah, I think some people will take money and probably do that, Mark. I think you're right.
Yeah. And I think we were talking about this off air. I had either read this or I heard it. Maybe it was even on this podcast. about like, the conversations that happen before setup. And I really like this because you have these luthiers who will have the customer in front of them with the instrument, and they'll take a baseline measurement of everything. And they can let the customer know this is what your string height is at this particular fret or at the nut slot or whatever, right? And so it gives them a little bit of context. That way, when they come back after the setup, they can clearly see that those measurements have altered, they've changed. And not just that, but when they play the guitar, if they like it, they now have another baseline go, this is what I like. Or it could be, this is not what I like. I need it higher, lower, whatever it is. But I really liked that. I liked this idea of like a conversation with the customer prior to just kind of build that baseline.
That is 100% what's happening with me. So if I give a bit of a backstory that I was talking to Mark about, I live in Brighton, and not too far away is Portslade. It's the edge of Brighton. And in Portslade, there's a rehearsal studio, which is also a place where the same studio complex runs a tour service for bands going on tour. So they do storage of people's instruments in lockup. So they will help load and unload the stored stuff into vans. And I think they supply all the vans as well, and the tour buses. So anyone going on tour can have stuff stored there and use it there. So it's fantastic, as well as the rehearsal studios before you're going on tour. But one band that I won't mention because I haven't worked with them yet, I'm doing that tomorrow, they needed some setup on a new guitar because they're playing the Reading and Leeds festivals this weekend. So what I've been told is if I can go to their lockup, or the team at the storage space will get the stuff out of the lockup for me. They've got their new guitar and they've got their guitar that they like playing, and they want me to copy the setup from the old guitar onto the new one. So I am definitely going to take measurements. And what I'm wondering is what measurements to take, because I'm definitely obviously going to take the action measurements. But I wonder whether I need to take the nut, the string height at the nut measurements as well, because it's a new guitar. Do I risk doing anything on the nut to this new guitar or not?
Did you say that the original guitar that they like is a Jackson?
So they're both Jackson guitars,
So with
but
the
they're
Floyd.
different models.
Do they have like the floating trem?
I don't know what they are.
Because you wouldn't need anything with a nut if there's a floating trem, right? There would be the locking nut.
Yes, wait a minute. I'm trying to picture. There's a locking nut, and yes, but some locking nuts you can still adjust the heights on them.
With chims, right?
Yeah, but yes, but also, so it won't be on this Jackson one, but some of them you can adjust with Allen keys. It goes up, they can go up and down.
Really?
Yeah, because I've definitely had those. But yeah, you're right. So I probably don't have to take that measurement, but also their guitar tech who doesn't live locally. This is why I'm doing it, because I live locally. Guitar tech doesn't live locally. What I've said to him is I will be WhatsApping him throughout the day just to check I'm doing the things that they want done, because it's the first time, and to set everything back. But
and the second guitar is also Jackson, so they're both Jacksons, right?
Yeah, so one of them's a soloist. I don't know what the other one is.
This is going to be an easy gig for you.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. So, I mean, one thing I'm going to do is, it's new guitar, check all the frets, check it's level, check there's no, nothing's popping up,
right?
No fret sprout or anything like that. And they also want everything. Well, I normally use this. In fact, here it is. Axe Wax, LX Wax, Wet, LX. I could say that again. Axe Wax, LX Wet lubricant oil. I use this on every time I set up. I mean, maybe it's overkill, but I think it adds a bit of protection, because they've asked me to put some sort of moisture protection on it, so there's no corrosion, because I think they've had corrosion on some of their instruments before. I guess if you're playing potentially a festival where you might get rained on, or you're really sweaty, and then everything gets put back in a case and left so the next time you're on tour a few months later, there's a risk of things like that. But we'll see. But yeah, so the other thing they want is pickup height change, because they did a quick test and it was just too close to the strings, so their whole rig was just feeding back or too noisy. So again, I'm going to measure the pickup heights on the others. Not that unfortunately, I can't take the guitar they like with me. I can only take the guitar that needs setting up with me. So I can't plug them both in and do a comparative test to see how the loudness is, to see what it'd be like before it goes for all their setup, which would be really useful. I don't know if anyone in the chat's got any suggestions.
So you're going to take all your measurements on site, right? Because you
can't I'm going to take my little bag of measuring tools. So one thing I want to do as well, and again, I don't know if this is really needed, but I'll check the relief. So the way I do that is I put cap on the first fret, hold down the string where it kind of reaches the body, and I do a reading at the 7th fret. And I'll do that. But that may be something that you don't set the same because it really depends on the neck and the guitar. But that might be my starting point for that as well.
I've always wanted one of those Stu Mac, I guess, relief gauges. They look really cool, and they're just basically like, your straight edge, and it goes across the fretboard. And there's like one of those little gauges with the little dial. I've always wanted one. I thought they were really cool, but I don't know if it's like overkill. And they're they're expensive also, being Stu Mac. But I just do the capo thing too, but I really want one of those Stu Mac dial gauges.
It's not the same, but you can do the thing with the gauge measurement that measures the string height.
Yeah.
And you can sort of measure the string height at different points. And that's not quite the same as measuring with that long setup that Stu Mac have, but it does a similar thing. Aaron from Adair Guitars has a video on how he made his own one with his 3D printer. Had to get 3D printers in. But yeah, I mean, there's so many tools that look brilliant. And sometimes I think, actually, do I need them? Am I just buying them because I've got to get the gas? What would it be? TAS? Tool acquisition syndrome? I just sort of want those funky looking tools. And Stu Mac ones are always lovely.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll do anything with the nuts. The problem is, I'm getting it on Tuesday tomorrow. I'm giving it back Thursday morning before they do their rehearsal, and then they're playing the gigs on the weekend. They might even be playing a gig on Friday and Saturday. It might be Saturday and Sunday. I'm not sure. So there's not much time to do back and forth. But back to what you were saying about when I've done setups for clients before, the setups that work the best are when the clients have come here, I've set it up for them, and they've come here and I've seen them play and I've made adjustments while they're playing. And then they've gone away and come back like a week later or 2 weeks later if they feel there's needed a change. And I think that's a setup where I can physically see what's happening and they can physically feel what's happening. And in one case, we found, as Eddie from Electric Lady Guitars has mentioned on his Instagram recently, sometimes after a few weeks you start to notice really minor imperfections on a fret that you wouldn't necessarily notice straight away, but you notice when you're playing it and you're bending. So we've been able to correct some things like that.
Yeah, for me, like every time I finish a build, setup is at least a week, where the guitar is here in the office. I'm playing it every day and making minor adjustments every day. It's at least a week, if not more. Because everything has to settle too. Like, you can't just like expect a guitar to like be perfect, right off the bench. It's got to settle. Like everything needs to just kind of like settle into place.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the problem with me doing a setup 2 days before they rehearse and 3 days before they gig. But
are you getting the new guitar straight out of the shipping packaging, or has it been like taken out already?
So they've taken it out to test it. I don't know who that is, whether that was the actual guitarist or whether it was the guitar tech, but they took it out at the last time they played and played it through the rig, which is why they know there was a problem with the pickups. Yeah, and it looks like it's in a soft case from the photos I've got. I've just been given photos of their storage lockup, so I know which box has got which things in, the strings, the guitar I need to check, and the actual guitar that I'm working on.
Do you know where it was made?
And I know literally nothing about it apart from it's a Jackson, it's yellow, and it's a soloist model.
Okay.
So someone might work this out if they watch the Leeds and Reading Festival and see who's playing.
Here's the reason: like, if it's like a USA model, I think this is going to be the easiest, smoothest gig you ever had, right? If it's a USA model. If it's an Indonesian model, I have 2 Indonesian Jacksons, and they both needed fret jobs.
Right. I like this idea that the guitar needs time to get used to being a guitar.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if that is because, Mark, with your Indonesian ones, the quality of the setup from the factory, or something to do with it being transported and stored and things like that.
I will say this: there was it when I did the fret jobs on those Indonesian Jacksons. It was the least amount of material I've ever taken off frets on a fret job. They were a joy to work on, just a joy.
Okay, well, sounds like I've got a fun day ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's all these other really interesting obstacles. I'm sorry if I'm boring people here. The other obstacles are, because it's all so last minute, and the tour company that do all the storage are really busy because a lot of people are going on tour at the moment with festivals, and presumably they store for other people that are playing at the same festival. They haven't really got time to go to the lockup and get things in and out. So they've been sent a photo of this is where. Oh, we've lost Mark for a minute. Or is that me going wrong? They've been sent a photo of where everything is. Yeah. So the people at the lockup have been sent a photo of where everything is in the lockup. But something's happened since then. They've had another delivery of things put in. And the people at the storage have said, well, we might not have time if we to drag things in and out. We might not have time to get it all. So there's a very slight chance I'll just be given the new guitar with instructions that are, they don't like the setup, the pickups need to be a bit lower, and the action needs to be a bit higher. And they'll just see what happens.
So can we make an assumption then, based on this scenario, that with these festivals, not every band is bringing along a guitar tech?
So their guitar tech will be going, but because he doesn't live local to the storage, he hasn't got time to do anything like fretwork and stuff. So essentially, he'll have time to go over the setup on the day and make some changes. But oh, see Eddie. Eddie's in the chat. He's got to go off. But the idea is they want someone local to them because, for example, they had a headstock break and they got it fixed, but it cost quite a lot to get it shipped backwards and forwards. And the first luthier that did it didn't do a good job, and the second one did, but it was really expensive. And they want someone that can go and do a pickup and turn things around quickly.
Right.
Like this whole thing of me going there, literally, I got a message last night, had a quick chat this morning, going tomorrow. It's been picked up on Thursday. I don't think they could do that if they had to get it sent off, because the storage company I don't think would be up for taking things out of storage, boxing it up, organising a courier.
Yeah. But
maybe they are. I don't know. Like, it's the first time I've worked with them, and as I was saying to the guitar tech Christian, it's really important, I think, to go out of your way to do things well, especially with a new client who doesn't know what you're like. Because I'm sure we've all had people we've worked with before. I'm thinking of people that have worked like doing repair work on the house, not on my guitars, or with plumbing and drains and stuff, who just seem to grumble about their job. But you're paying them to do it, but they're grumbling about it, and it doesn't evoke confidence in wanting to hire them again.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Beavis Christ, what name? I think Beavis has been in the chat before because I definitely recognise his name. Hey, look, before I knew what we were going to talk about, because we started talking about this off air, and we didn't have time to finish it, which is why I wanted to take it on air, partly for advice, partly because I thought it might be interesting. I was considering talking about things that I find inspirational. And the reason is, and I'll share this with everyone now, I saw a post yesterday on my Instagram feed from a company called Bell 40 Instruments, who I'd never heard of before. It just was one of those ones that was just popped up as a suggestion. And I just want to show you what they're making. Let's see if I can go back. So it's been CNC'd, and they've engraved the neck with this. But also, look, the neck's got like a V shape that's not on
Is it an Endur neck? Is it
So-
like? Oh,
So it's not going to have a texture, the neck, because they're filling it, and you'll see in a minute it has a clear coat put over the top. So the neck's got that V shape, and the center of the V isn't in the same place all the way down the neck. It moves presumably to
Yeah,
adjust
it's-
your hand movement, which is brilliant.
it's like the
Never
Endur
played
neck. Yeah,
So I don't know what that is.
that's the Strandberg patented. Well, I think that's patented. Endur style neck. So it's basically has that center line that's offset. So you basically have two facets on the top and the bottom, and your thumb naturally will be for chording on that line here. But when you're soloing, it's closer down to the lower frets.
Yeah. But I looked at this and thought it looks amazing. I in one hand I would love to make instruments where I used really, really beautiful woods, spent a long time handcrafting and CNCing and combining things together. But I don't know if I would have a market to be able to sell it. And it would be like I can't do that sort of thing unless, as again we were talking off air, I come from a banking background and could retire on my banking money to build guitars. Before it then, hopefully, with a company like Belforti here, takes off to be a full-time big business. Let's see. I don't know Belforti. I just followed them from this reel.
It is a cool neck.
So that neck was on, looked like a headless instrument.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's played one in the chat, let us know. That'd be cool. Not necessarily Belforti. Maybe people know of them a bit more. Have you played that neck you were just talking about, the Strandberg one?
Yeah, I was an early adopter of the Strandbergs, so I definitely have a Strandberg with an Enduro neck. I haven't played it in years, but it's a great guitar. Yeah, it's one of the I don't know how they did it. Like I don't know how the Strandberg did it, but it's one of the lightest guitars I've ever played. It's bird's eye maple, right? So bird's eye maple neck, bird's eye maple fretboard, and it's the lightest neck ever. It's just almost like there's absolutely no moisture in there. It's just light as a feather, and the body's chambered, so it makes it super light. And it's a 7-string also, so even for a 7-string, with the added extra with hardware and pickups, it's just a super light instrument. Yeah, great quality guitar.
Nice. But so the thing about that neck and seeing that video is I find it very inspirational just seeing people making high quality things. It just makes me want to go make things in a way that when I hear guitarists play really cool things, it doesn't make me want to go and play a guitar because I can't do that. But I feel like the high quality builds is something that's within my grasp. But also it inspires me to build things at my level. Whereas I guess listening to a guitarist could make me want to play at my level. Actually, to be fair, when I hear a really cool guitar riff and things, it does get me in the mood to build guitars, not necessarily make them. I've said this before, but a few years ago, in fact, it was probably around lockdown time, I wanted to dedicate a certain amount of time every day to playing. And I very quickly realized I was wasting my time playing when I could be building. I wanted to build more than play. That's myself.
Yeah, I told you off air that I was recently inspired too. I was inspired by a YouTube video that was just posted by a guitar teacher. He wasn't a builder, but it was a little misleading because his thumbnail was a guitar fretboard. And I have the title here. It's something like you've never seen a fretboard like this. And I thought, oh, he's a builder, and I want to check this out, right? So I click on the video, and it turns out he's a guitar instructor, and he's talking. And what he did was the fretboard. He just used magic marker or paint or something.
Oh yes, yeah. I've watched that video.
Yeah, and so essentially, what it is it's a piano grid on the guitar fretboard where every note that is a whole note is white or pale, and every sharp is black, just like on a piano. And he basically does the entire fretboard. And obviously this is a kind of a strange idea, which is why I was attracted to it. And I was also so inspired that I hopped on into CAD and I built it. So I designed it, I built it, it's ready to go on a CNC. And I was gonna send you a picture, Daniel, if you don't mind me doing that now.
Yeah, please do.
Can I just do it on Instagram or something? I don't know how to send you a picture.
Anyway. Yeah. If you do it on Instagram, I can share it on my Instagram.
Right, sweet. And so the really cool thing is, I did it. I mean, I knocked it out just in like an hour or two. Like I built the grid. I decided that every string would have a lane that it lives in. And then I just started just doing basically like, here's your note C, and then C sharp's black, and then D is not black, and D sharp's black. And just went all the way down each string for each string. And it made this beautiful, what I think beautiful, a beautiful grid. And the whole idea for me is about approaching the instrument differently and playing differently, right? That's what I want. And so this isn't a better way to do anything. It's not an easier way, certainly not. It's visually strange, but it might actually make you play differently. And the other thing that I learned from this video that was really inspiring is, I didn't know this, but every black key on a piano is the pentatonic scale. Like, I didn't know this until the guy said it out loud. And I realized, oh yeah, that's basically an F sharp major pentatonic. Like, you could have somebody playing, an F sharp major progression, and you could just go on the black keys and just bang them. And that's the pentatonic scale. You got like a blues scale going on. And so I like that idea too, where if you're on your guitar and you hit every black string, you just know you're in the pentatonic scale. You can just like tap around or play around. Anyway, I thought it was just the coolest thing ever.
Cool. Have you sent that image?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now.
All right, then. While you're doing that, I'll share this, which is, I think I've mentioned before, randomly a while ago, I ended up chatting to a guy called Thomas Nordegg, who was the guitar tech for Steve Vai, and also, it's not the picture I wanted to share, but anyway, you can see it there. He was Steve Vai's, I'm going to have to share a different page. Hold on. He was Steve Vai's guitar tech. He met Steve Vai by Frank Zappa because he was Frank Zappa's guitar tech. He's worked for loads of other bands as well. And he showed me his instruments online. We had a really bonkers chat where he showed me around his setup. And he's just got loads of weird technology that he uses when he's playing. Here we go. I'll show it like this. But this is his guitar is set up like that.
Whoa. That is so cool. Yeah, I just sent you a render of my fretboard. Yeah, that's it. I can tell it's immediately recognizable. And it's really cool because like once your eyes get used to it, you can start seeing the patterns. Like I was noticing the pattern from like the 1st to 12th fret, and then the 12th fret to the 22nd fret. And like you can start seeing the patterns. It's crazy. And so I want to know what it feels like. I have to play this to see if it makes me play differently. So this is just a render that I built in CAD, but everything is actually 100% designed, built in CAD. It's ready to put on a CNC, ready to make all those squares. And it's something that I'm going to work on just, I think, this weekend.
Nice. So yeah, that is like his, and that is like that one that guy did. Yeah, he told me he liked playing like it, and for the reason that that guy said in that video. I'm sure you're going to love it. You are going to literally stick it on a guitar you've already got, or you're going to...
Well, see, that's been my issue since day one, where I have these cool ideas, I want to implement them, but it's so hard because now I got to build a whole neck.
Yeah,
like
right.
It's totally sucks. Like it totally stops me in my tracks. So I think what I'm going to do is I've had some other ideas for kind of like, I guess, quick necks. I thought the idea of maybe making a neck that didn't have a carve on the back and making it flat. So anyway, yes, this is going to be on a guitar neck, and I'm just going to use resin. So I'm going to have the CNC cut out the black pockets, and then I'm going to pour resin, and then I'm just going to basically level it again. So it's going to be like a square piece of stock again. Then I'm going to put the radius in, which is a 12-inch radius. Then I'm going to put the fret slots in. So yeah, I have a whole plan to do this.
Why 12-inch radius?
Every single time I make a neck, it's always different. I don't have like a set radius that I like. I just at random chose 12.
Oh, fair enough. I've just been making these little radius blocks just for someone mentioned before, basically for sanding in individual frets, basically.
Nice.
And longer blocks as well. And I find it really funny when you line up the different radiuses, how you can notice very subtle differences when they touch. Like this one, it's a 9.5 and a 14, and it's just like at the end, there's like a millimeter or 2 millimeter difference in the radius. It only just starts to show there when you sort of touch the sides.
Yeah.
It feels so small, and that's 9.5 and 14. So imagine the feeling of that. But when you get a 7.25 inch, it's even more noticeable, because as the radiuses shrink, it's why is it more noticeable? There's some maths there which would make it more exponential in the way the circumference works. But yeah, it's so subtle, but it does make a difference when you play for some people. I don't know if it does for me. Oh, didn't need to do that. Yeah, that's back to 3D printing. Yeah. Stay tuned. I've got a new website coming of 3D printed stuff.
Nice.
I've also been today 3D printing Jimi Hendrix's head, which is a whole exciting new thing. Yeah.
How big is it going to be?
So have you seen again, they're not up for sale yet. They're up for sale. They're in a few shops, or they're in a shop at the moment. But the pick holders I made that are skulls.
Right on. Okay.
So I'm making Jimi Hendrix pick holders. I've made a bust of his 3D printing. I'm just working out how the hair fits. I put them, first of all, I haven't got it here, unfortunately. I put the picks go in 2 rows, but when you put them in, it just looks like it's Jimi Hendrix and Mickey Mouse ears.
Oh.
So silly. So I'm going to have to layer it up a bit so it looks a bit more kind of bouffanted hair.
That's cool. Yeah, Jimmy. I like the skull one for sure too. That was really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I've been photographing and filming them, ready to start putting them up for sale with some nice photos. So they'll be coming soon. It's back to that whole idea of having things that can just exist in the background. And although these ones won't be 3D files that people can necessarily print, I just print them in the background. They don't take up a lot of time. So if they sell, brilliant. I can sell a few. If they don't, it's not like it's taken me the initial stage of designing them and getting the iterations right. But then after that, it's not much work. So hopefully it'll be worth it.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been doing some 3D printing for this latest build, and I think I mentioned this last time we were on, where I'm building a guitar harp, and the strings are slanted on 2 of the necks. Right, so the center neck's normal, but the other 2 slanted. So I have to literally design a bridge that is slanted, and the only way to do that obviously is 3D printing. I mean, I guess I could mill it, but it takes way too much time. So I thought, hey, let me just 3D print these bridges, and they're working flawlessly. Like I thought, oh, surely the tension of the string will eat through the top of that, but its string is literally touching the PLA, and it's not moving one bit. It's not going out of tune. I'm just always impressed by the strength. Yeah, that's it. So the one on the far left, behind that wraparound tunematic, is the bridge I'm talking about. It is just doing a fantastic job of holding up the strings.
I can't zoom in on it. Has it got one extra little saddle that moves on it?
Yeah, and so the low E string was a perfect height, until I started to mock up the pickups, and it was like, oh damn, it's hitting the pickup. So I had to raise it up so that my humbucker can slide under there. And I was just, instead of reprinting, I'm just like, I'm not going to reprint it. I'm just going to throw that little steel bar on there. Remember, it kind of goes with the whole vibe anyway. So like, I'm okay with that. But yeah, the pickup's going to be externally mounted, so there's no cavities anywhere on this guitar. They're just going to be top mounted, boom, humbuckers. And they're going to be 7-string humbuckers to account for the extra width of the strings. And the humbuckers themselves has to slant. So I'm 3D printing like a ramp for the pickup to sit on. Yeah. And the pickup itself will be slanted on both these 2 necks.
And remind me, what strings have you used then on the one on the right?
Those are straight up bass strings,
right.
78 to 75. I can't remember the gauges, but like it starts in the 70s and goes down to like the 54, I think.
Nice.
Those sound fantastic. Yeah.
Do you know, when I first saw this, I didn't notice it was a Telecaster body. That's cool.
Yeah.
And the material at the top, which looks a bit like patina metal in some way, like a verdigris.
Yeah, it's copper.
Nice. It looks cool.
It sounds pretty good too. Like I didn't bother thinking ahead about the tuning or the gauges. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. But I've been hitting them with mallets because they're all above the fretboard. You don't fret this instrument. You're going to play them like a harp. And I'm just getting the loudest, clearest tones from each one of these strings on all the necks. It's just sounding great, just with hitting it with the mallet. And I can't wait till I get some electronics in here because that's going to really make a huge difference.
Yeah, amazing. It's definitely, I know you've mentioned before your love of art. It definitely feels like an art piece as well.
And that's the final step. The final step is this is going to live outdoors. It's going to be an outdoor piece. I guess kind of like some people have wind chimes. It's going to be something like that, an instrument that lives outside that makes sound.
And so if it's that, how does that work based on the fact that you've made a video where you put a Telecaster body outside for a year and it fell apart?
It's going to fall apart. I'm hoping it falls apart slowly, and I'm hoping that it becomes a part of nature. I'm hoping that it kind of like, I see like vines growing on it and insects living in it and birds nesting in it. And then there's like this whole other part of this installation where I'm going to be putting this art piece on an island. So here in Austin, where I live, we have this lake that's not really a lake, it's a river, but we call it a lake. And there is a tiny little man-made island, and it's called Snake Island. And in the 60s, hippies would go there and they'd like smoke pot and barbecue. And people don't go there anymore. But I plan on like rowing out there and then installing this art piece out there where it can live indefinitely forever and rot and decay and become a part of nature.
I love it. That sounds amazing. I'm just going to share something else with you. I think I've mentioned this to you before, Mark, but I don't think I've ever mentioned it on here. Can I do it with this? Hopefully the sound will share as well here. It's an installation I saw at the Barbican Art Gallery in London a few years ago. Oh, my internet's gone a bit funny.
Yes. I love it. It's so brilliant.
So the way it was set up is, at least this is how I remember it, the way it was set up is you could walk through, it's called the Curve Gallery. So it's a big gallery, but it's like a long corridor that curves around the edge of the Barbican. So when you're at one end of the gallery, you can't see the other end because of the curve. And it was set up so you could go in, but the birds couldn't get out. So I presume, I don't really remember, but there must have been some sort of double door system at each end. And you walk through and you walk through the birds, and they just sort of be flying around, eating, playing the instruments as they landed on them.
Yeah, that is so great.
Yes, I'd love to see yours involved with the nature flight, sort of embedded in it somehow, or strange hippies that go on a boat over the river and find it and play it. The thing when I talk to students about artwork, because part of what I do outside of guitar making is talking about art with people and various settings, but one of them is I do a course for teenagers about an introduction to contemporary art and thinking about art. And sometimes when we're trying to think of the meaning of an artwork and we're looking at it, we've got this idea that you're looking at an artwork, but the artist isn't there anymore. So they're not there to communicate the idea. You're just left with your own interpretations of it. But sometimes there might be a clue that they give, and that might be in the title of the artwork. So you might see the artwork and see the title, and that helps you understand what it's about. Do you think your instrument's going to have a name? And will that name help inspire the nature element of it all?
I never even thought for a second about a name. I kind of like the idea of it being anonymous, and just this. I mean, someone may be finding it years and years later, and it's kind of falling apart, and just wondering and thinking, like that idea of like it's open to interpretation. I like that a lot. I mean, surely there's authorial intent. There's an intent to it, but like that's long gone. Right? It now belongs to people who see it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole bit of philosophy, the death of the author. The author is no longer in control once they put something out there, because it's up to the reader or the viewer to look at it.
Yeah.
Alan's just said an archaeologist will find it in the future and be so confused. Can you imagine a future civilization where they look back on what's left over post-nuclear destruction and they find this weird instrument and they try to put a story behind it and how it's a commonplace instrument? People used to play them in Ireland.
They play these all the time, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Well, on that amazing note, I'm looking forward to seeing that finish, Mark. That'd be fantastic. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone else that's in the chat for being here. I'm away next week, so I think we're going to have a break for a week, if that's all right with everyone. But as I always say, look, if anyone is in the chat or anyone that's watching that's been on before and hasn't been on for a while and you want to come on, just send me a message. It's open for anyone to join in. We didn't really know what we can talk about today, and we just, as I say, we waffled on. But hopefully it was interesting for me. I hope it was for some of you. If it was, let us know in the comments. And I always say as well, maybe I should do this at the beginning, but doing a thumbs up and a like and all of that really helps. A bit of sharing. I noticed the other day we're coming up to, I think there's 3 weeks left, and all the archive episodes that we'd originally done over the first few years are going to be up. So they're the 1.5 hour long interviews, and I think in total there's 87 of them. And then there's also on this channel there's another 12 or 15 kind of edited highlights where I pulled together various people from different episodes around a theme. And then this is our 16th live stream since we started doing this format. So there's over like 100 videos to watch. So it'd be great to get them out there to some other people. Right, cheers. That was a bit of a waffle at the end. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.